We're going to do a two for periscope tonight, why not? So we're right next to the relay field, and this whole 260 acres was applied with 6,000 gallons of manure right at the end of September last year. You know, that's 211 days. You know, we've had over 20 inches of rain since then. And I'm out here applying nitrogen to this field, and it probably won't be the last time. But I'm going to get out, we'll compare these two systems. And this is what my motivation is how inefficient we are with our manure, because our barns aren't capable of holding all this for a whole calendar year. So we have to apply some in the fall and some in the spring. See a little mist here in the wheat. So this has 0 applied nitrogen, unless you count a little bit of foliar. It was about 2 units with that Versamac application. So this is just strictly manure, and we're trying to use this force multiplier, not only this just in time of establishing 2 crops at once, using the radishes with its big elephant ears to outcompete and be that Jamaican in the sardine block next to that big old Pollock 300 pounder on a 100-meter dash. If you can speed up the growth of the radish, then it will outcompete everything, and it can grow with the wheat, because the wheat's not really making its mind up reproductive in the fall. We're just getting that flush, and then we can take advantage of that flush. We're getting the nitrogen in both plants at the same time, so we're grabbing it, and we get the tillering effect. So that's how we can you know, get these consolidation of wheat heads. But so then as we make it through kind of the winter, and that kills off the radishes will give that back to the wheat. So we've grabbed it all with these 2 crops. We've used the radishes as weed control. We've bio-drilled, and we've actually, the radishes help extract even more nutrients out of the soil than even the manure had in the first place. So we get this little slingshot effect to the wheat to tiller even more. And we are very fortunate to get this warm up in February. We got all these tillers. But I don't think it really matters the tiller count. If we have a little bit less, we'll have probably a little bit bigger heads. But we can use those crops as a filter, if you will, of the nitrogen, because the beans really don't need it. They can make it themselves. And it's a testament with all these nodules on the beans that the wheat has really extracted that nitrogen. So that's why I'm obsessed, why I have the AD, why I talk about this all the time, why I make periscopes, is I really truly believe with the infrastructure in place, with all these hog barns, it's on top of each other, the neighbors won't allow us to put them anywhere else. We can't get permits. So this is happening, and it's in place, and we need a system that does a better job than what I'm doing out here, because it might feel good to raise 250 bushel corn, but if I'm adding 100, 120, 150 units of nitrogen, and I lost that copious amount that I put in the fall, you know, where's it going? And if you lose efficiency, you lose your ass. I mean, it's a true privilege to have Tyson bring all this feed out. They pay for it. You know, that we don't pay for the feed bill here, but it takes, this is all area farmers. We're just extracting that phosphorus out of all this ground, and it gets brought out to our barn, and we can really take advantage of it and spread that out across more acres. But anyway, that's my rant. You know, really excited where this is at. We've had, you know, there was really unknown on how these beans would grow, would they get too tall, but they're really staying in check. And I've seen some research, I've talked about it, University of Nebraska tried to simulate hail damage. They took a flail mower out on R2 beans and they actually got a yield response because it encourages branching. So even if we clip a few of these beans here and harvest, you know, we're getting within 3 weeks now. You know, with the fertility in place, as long as we get late rain, I don't think it's really going to hurt much. But looking good. But that's the whole motivation here, is we have all these barns. We have to apply it in the fall. We have to apply it in the spring. What is our fall solution? Other than just accepting the fact that we're going to lose on that nitrogen, apply more. And when we apply a lot of manure to try to chase the nitrogen, we're putting 3 or 4 times the crop needs of phosphorus out here. So you do that 8 or 10 times in 20 years, now your arteries are clogged and you got to chase it with lime. And it's not good for the legs, it's not good for anything. But again, this gigantic field was all applied with fall manure, 2 systems. This will probably win out in revenue, and it'll kick its ass in profitability. And that's why I'm obsessed, because if we figure this out, we're going to quit doing this. And we're going to go this, we're going to get the equipment to maybe manure strip till, still integrate cover crops, maybe mix something with the radishes so it's not bare when it's gone, and we can clean that up with dicamba, or we can figure out a roller crimper system in between the wheat and try to go organic or something, or, you know, we can try all kinds of different things. But anyway, one little thing I'll show you real quick. It won't take me a second. So last year, I wide dropped the wheat. Show you how easy these guys are to take off. Might be in a little pickle to get it out here. Okay. So if you don't have access to manure, or if you want to band a very small amount of manure in here, we can use these wide drops really well in this context, because we can go out later and we don't have to worry about, I'm losing it, we don't have to worry about leaf burn. So we can band that down by the roots. And what we were talking about last year, and hopefully this is still a reality, is you take a machine like we got right here. We can get plumbing for 2 tanks. And you talk about enlist, you talk about extend. We could come up with a system like the Duo Seed, integrate a wide drop system off the side, and we could wide drop, we could plant soybeans, and we could spray all in one pass. And you take a strip till machine that would band some P&K and maybe some ESN, AMS, urea right up front with some wheat seed in the fall, and do a system like that. And I think we can really scale this up. Or if you don't want to do that without manure in the fall, we could manure strip till, and we can look at that ratio of how much higher the phosphorus is than the nitrogen and lower that rate down and supplement it a little bit of nitrogen later on. All right, enough rambling. Good day.